You need to stop eating In-N-Out. I
Shake
watch
Shack,
you.
Shake Shack and In-N-Out, boy. You've been watching me. You got
Of
cameras in
course, I
here?
watch you. Every day, I think about how I'm gonna cook you. I'm gonna put you in an In-N-Out burger, bro. Every day. I'm Middle Eastern, okay? You never know. One day you might be a doner kebab. The first point is is as follows: Christians attempt, in their best will and interest, to replicate the teachings and life of Jesus Christ. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
That's point number one. Okay, you intend to live as he did. Okay, that's point number one. Point number two, we as Muslims believe that God has provided this new book to clarify matters of the past and of the present and future. Okay, so there are two different things happening here. Okay, number one, you Christians want to emulate Jesus. You want to reach as close to him as possible. Therefore, logically, you would follow exactly as he did. Not what Paul tells you to do, okay, which is an aberration.
Should we be crucified on crosses too?
Don't you believe your original followers were?
And
I never said all of them. I never said all of them.
They didn't look forward to that. They didn't go, hey guys, crucify me on the cross because my Lord was crucified.
You venerate them as martyrs, correct?
They are martyrs, but you're missing the question. Should we as Christians, since you're saying we should do everything that Jesus did, is
that not what you believe? Is that not what you believe?
Christians go and get crucified?
That is not something you do. That is something done to you.
But Jesus willingly went. Jesus willingly went to them and said, "I gave my life as a ransom for many." Should we do that?
According to you, to fulfill the prophecy. That's not the same thing as you willfully going and stabbing yourself in the hand in a cross. That's not the same thing.
Why don't I have somebody else do it? Since my Lord was crucified, why don't I have somebody put nails in my hands and nail me to a cross and leave me?
Come on, GodLogic. You know the argument you're making is very facetious. You know what you're doing right now. Come on.
I'm showing you that your understanding of Christianity and the standard that you're trying to apply to us is faulty. Jesus is our Lord, yes. We obey his teachings, yes. But we don't do every little thing that he did. That's crazy.
Okay, first of all, yes, if Jesus walked with his 2 inches with his left foot and 3 inches with his right, obviously you wouldn't expect to copy the exact movement of his feet just as he did. Okay. However, Jesus, your belief is that he was a Jew. Okay.
No, that's what you said. We both believe he was a Jew.
We also believe he was ethnically a Jew.
All right. So we're on the same page, and we get that from the Bible.
Okay. Right? No. Copying the way he walked, that's an OCD matter, okay? The matter about dietary law, that is something that is part of the community, part of the faith. Everyone agrees with it, all right, around that time, who is a Jew, okay? So it's not the same thing. And it's not the same thing.
I'm going to let you continue. Just quick question. It's not even on subject, but just quick question. I'm not even going to fuss with you. Are you familiar with, isn't there a particular foot that you're supposed to walk in the bathroom with because Muhammad walked in the bathroom a certain way?
Yes. So you and into the mosque as well, yes.
Right. So that's interesting. So you said if you're walking certain steps that Jesus stepped and how he walked, yada yada, that would be like OCD type stuff. But this is in your religion.
No, there's a complete difference because when I gave the example previously, I'm talking about you're literally thinking of literally every step you take once you're walking around the world, right?
That's how you have to be.
But when you walk into a mosque and you place your right foot forward first, this is a symbolic gesture. This is a meaningful gesture. This is not something where you're OCD thinking every step you take in your life, counting every step. It's not the same.
I can understand the thing about the masjid thing if there's significance to that. But what about the bathroom? Why do you have to walk into the bathroom with your right foot first just because Muhammad did it?
What do you mean? It's sunnah. We copy that practice.
But is there what's the significance?
I know around the matter of eating with the right hand and eating with one certain hand and shaking a hand with the other hand. I don't know regarding the bathroom matter of the foot. Okay, I'm uneducated on the matter about the bathroom.
Fair enough. All right, let's continue to get back on top. That was just a little sidebar. But go ahead. You was finish your point. I hope I didn't distract you too much.
No, you threw me off my goddamn point. And sorry for blaspheming. Yeah, the example you gave about crucifixion, I'm sorry, it is a very bad example because
I agree.
What do you mean you agree? You made the example. You gave the example.
No, what I'm saying is it's a bad example because the standard that you was applying on me was bad. We should do everything that Jesus ever did. But no, we shouldn't. We follow his teaching.
Said that you should get crucified like you claim.
I know you didn't say that, but that entails that as well. We don't have to do everything Jesus did. We have to follow his teachings. We follow his commandments. We don't have to do everything he did.
Does he not say, and I know this verse is going to get, we're going to start arguing about this for the next whatever, but the verse about not doing away with the old law, you're going to say, well, he fulfilled the covenant and the old law is done away with. And I will say, no, it's not done away with until heaven and earth pass away. We're just going to
let's go with that. So let's go with that. Let's stick with that thought. So Jesus says that, the law won't pass away until all is fulfilled. But you have an understanding that it's still staying like it's because heaven and earth is here. So the law is still right. It's still the law. It's still what is applicable to us today. Right. That's what you're saying.
Correct.
Let's go with that. And you're saying that Paul changing the law goes against what Jesus said, that it can't be changed until heaven and earth pass away. Right.
Correct.
Okay, cool. So let me go with you. So are you saying that whoever teaches that Jesus changed the law, because this is where Paul is claiming he gets it from, that he's under the law of Christ or whatever. So whoever teaches that Jesus changed the law is going against what he actually said, right? And they're a false messenger.
Are you going to now try and apply this to Islam?
I'm just asking a question on Paul.
No, you're gonna play a trick on me. You're gonna do a reversal on Islam, aren't you?
You've been watching this long enough.
Repeat the question, yeah?
If someone is teaching that the law has been changed, are they a false messenger?
I am not going to play your little game. I know where you're taking this. So if the answer is no. Listen. You can't use this on Paul then if you can't answer that question, my brother. You know what the most ridiculous thing is? The fact that you and Sam always attack Islam and the Prophet about matters like violence. When a man,
I'm talking about Paul.
Yeah. When a man like Paul literally murdered unalived one of the apostles.
All right, so are we switching it now? Or are we talking about?
I'm just saying, you guys are not consistent whatsoever.
You said that Paul unalived one of the apostles.
Yes.
Where do you get that from?
What do you mean? It's there. He stood at the.
Show me the verse.
Listen, I will pull it up for you. When Sebastian was unalived, he was there and he approved of it.
Sebastian, bro. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so this is false?
Yes, it's false what you're saying. I would say you have a misconception. I think that you're talking about Stephen. Stephen was stoned, and Paul was present when he was stoned.
Yes, that's what I said. He stood there and they placed the clothes at his feet, and it says he approved of it.
But where does it say that? Where does it say that he's the one that took part?
I never said that. I never said that he did it with his own hand. I said he approved.
You said that he unalived an apostle. That's what you said.
Hang on a second. If you are there in a group of people and you watch them unalive somebody, what would the judge say when you get taken to court?
That I'm an accomplice.
And they place no. They place the clothes at your feet and you say, yes, I approve of this. What would the judge say?
I'm not guilty of the crime. You can't. What's it called?
I can't believe you're saying this.
What?
Say what you just said to me to Sam, yeah? Say what you just said to me to Sam.
Okay, so wait, so Scott, are we so do you understand you got rid of the misconception, right? Paul never
said, I know that he did not physically unalive him.
No, but that's what you said though, brother. You said that Paul unalived an apostle. That's what you said. So that now you know that that's not the case, right? That never happened, right?
Okay, I know the story, okay? I know the story. I know the story, right?
You change. Your name's somebody named Sebastian, who's nowhere in the Bible, and then you also said that Paul, an apostle. You don't know the story, dude.
I know the story. I've got it in my brain. They unalived him and they placed the clothes at his feet, and it says that he approved of it.
All right. Did Paul unalive him? Yes or no?
With his own hands, no.
All right. Then.
But he approved of it.
You were wrong. Okay, I agree. He approved of his unaliving, but he himself he didn't do it. He didn't take part of that.
Okay. Right. Now go on to the matter of Stephen.
No, not Stephen. This is my question to you, bro.
Okay, go on.
If someone is teaching that the law has been changed.
Oh my God, you're back to this because you want me to say yes because then you're gonna.
I want you to tell the truth. That's all.
Go on.
Because you brought this up to go against Paul.
Go on.
Okay, so if you're going to use this against Paul,
no, I'm not using it against. According to your faith, I'm using it against Paul.
No, you're not. No, you're okay. So Paul. All right, look. Let me just ask you this.
Go on, then. Yeah, go on.
So, what is the standard that we're using? Is my faith
so you're
standard to judge by whether or not somebody's a true messenger or not?
The question you're about to ask that you asked is if someone comes and abrogates on the law, is this person a false messenger? Yeah,
that's the question.
I'm going to answer you, but I don't want you to interrupt because I want to be very clear.
All right.
The answer, because you want me to say the Prophet Muhammad, because you want me to say yes so that you can say, the Prophet Muhammad did it as well. Okay, but listen, very clearly. The answer is only yes if another revelation is not revealed by Allah. Okay? So if you are living in a time, for instance, let's say the 1st century AD, okay? And the revelation has come through Jesus Christ. And then someone like Paul comes along or someone else and attempts to abrogate on it, okay? This person would be a false messenger because the latest revelation has come. Now, we obviously believe that the Prophet Muhammad received another true revelation later on. So if any of this information is not the same as what is found in Christianity or Judaism, this is not an abrogation because this is a replacement revelation. Does that make sense? This is a cleaning of the situation. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay, all right, well, I don't know.
Let me go with you. So as long as the abrogation comes by revelation of God, then it's cool, right?
Yeah, that's what I would say. I would say.
I got you. So look, here's Galatians chapter 1, verse 11. It says, verse 11 and 12. For I would have you know, brothers, that the gospel that was preached by me is not man's gospel. For I did not receive it from any man, nor was I taught it, but I received it through a revelation of Jesus Christ. So what Paul is teaching is a revelation.
Right. So
therefore, if he reveals that there's some laws that have been abrogated, he's in the clear because it's a revelation from God.
Okay, Thomas Aquinas used to tell people he could levitate, right?
So?
Right? There's a lot of bullshitters in history, you know that, right?
Do you see how Paul meets all your criteria, all your standards?
What criteria does he meet?
Revelation.
First of all, do you agree or disagree that in order for a man to receive revelation from God, and you believe Christ is God, that he ought to be pure?
No.
So you don't believe that Jesus was, who is Jesus?
Jesus is the only pure one that's ever walked this earth. Everybody else has failed. They've fallen short of the glory of God.
So you believe a man who is completely corrupt can receive divine revelation?
I believe that I think that all men are completely corrupt. That's what the Bible says. No one is good except God alone.
Okay, yeah, you believe in faith. You believe in salvation through faith. But honestly,
don't you believe in salvation through Allah's mercy?
Yes, but we also believe in actions and our actions here in this life as well.
I do too. I believe in actions this life that my works are proof of my faith. Wouldn't you say that your works are proof?
What do you mean your works are your proof? Where are you getting that from? Which denomination are you following now?
The Bible. Look. And by the way, this is again what Paul says. See, I'm showing you that you actually agree with a lot of things that Paul teaches. Watch this.
What would I agree with what Paul teaches? Paul said circumcision was not required. Paul said you could eat pork.
Pause, dude.
Paul established his own church.
Relax.
You know what's terrible? You guys don't look into the history of Christianity.
Let me show you. Look. So this is what you would agree with. For by grace you have been saved through your faith, and this is not your own doing; it is a gift from God, not result of works, so that no one may boast. Do you believe that God's mercy is as a result of your works, or is it a result of His own goodness and mercy?
I believe the latter.
Exactly. That's what Paul just said. So. And then he goes on to say, not a result of works that no one may boast.
But that's a bit of a word salad. Can I explain why?
A word salad? Do you know what a word salad is?
Because, of course I do. Listen, GodLogic, let me respond. The reason that's a bit of a play on words is because God can always, God's mercy is always. Can you repeat the second part of what you said? The second statement.
And this is not of your own doing. It is the gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one can brag, no one can boast.
Yeah. So we all believe that God, Allah, is all powerful, and so His mercy is His alone. Okay, so the point about can Allah, or God give you mercy versus works is not really it's not a dichotomy between one another. You know what I mean? It's not either or. It's both and.
Beautiful, nice. Let me continue.
Because God is all powerful, God.
Good. So let me continue. So Paul just highlighted how God has given us grace by our faith.
Listen, God, let me ask you something.
No, wait, let me finish, bro. Goodness. Let me show you how he continues to also talk about your works. He says, for we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them. We should walk in good works. So yes, God has given us his grace and mercy because of our faith. And because of our faith, our response is to now walk in good works. He has prepared us for good works.
Okay, but how does this address, we can talk about this all day, but how does this address the fact that Paul said you don't need to get circumcised?
So wait, do you agree?
I mean,
with
first of all,
wait, I brought you here to show you that you agree with Paul's teaching. Don't you agree with this?
Listen, on the matter of Allah's mercy, God's mercy, I agree that Allah's mercy is above all, okay?
Nice.
And I also, as a Muslim, believe that my actions in this life determine my judgment in the year after. Okay.
That doesn't make any sense. It's either you're solely reliant upon Allah's mercy.
It's not either or. It's not either or.
It is.
It's not either or.
It is. It's either your works earn you God's mercy.
Here's an analogy. Here's an analogy. Okay. Here's an analogy. You have two football players trying to get a scholarship, right? And they both score the exact same on a test to get into university, right? But the principal looks at one of them and says, his mother recently passed away, and so I will give him the scholarship. They both did the same works, but the mercy is what granted one the passing over and not the other. Okay? So you can't have both. You can have...
It had nothing to do with their works.
No. The works is what allowed them to be in that position in the first place, where such a judgment could come into play. Okay?
So if you don't have any good works, you're saying that Allah won't give you mercy?
Allah is all merciful.
So if you do not have good works, can you still earn his mercy?
Yes, because we don't believe people can. We don't believe in eternal. For some people and certain others, we don't believe everyone goes to hell forever.
Okay, no worries. But you just notice what you just did. You just told me that.
But how is this related to the matter of Paul?
Let me finish. You just told me that even if a person doesn't have good works, Allah is all merciful and can still grant that person mercy.
Yes, because he is all powerful.
So it shows you that it's not dependent on your works. It's dependent on his decision. On his mercy, whether he shows mercy or not.
No.
So good works is irrelevant.
No. This is such a wordplay. I gave you an example. I gave you an analogy. This is your problem. This is the Christian's problem. You philosophize too much. You enter into philosophy too much. And what happens is you enter into... No, you cannot apply logic to matters like this. It's not either or. It's not a fucking logic gate in a computer, 1 or 0. 1 or 0. Okay?
Language.
Listen. Philosophy does not apply here. This is theology, okay? Throw philosophy out of the window, okay? Shove it up some other person's a-hole, okay? Forget philosophy.
You don't even know that you just philosophized when you said that.
I know I did.
You began to philosophize once you said we don't use philosophy in this. You're using philosophy when you say that.
No, you are not. Rejection of philosophy is not philosophy, okay?
Yeah, it is.
Listen, no, it isn't. This is why I know you're stuck in philosophy, because you even think if someone rejects philosophy, they're philosophizing. This is how stuck in philosophy you are.
Hey,
Okay?
do you know people who have a PhD in theology?
Yes, I know personally, yeah.
Do you know what PH stands for?
Yes.
What?
Yes, I do.
What does it stand for?
What does the P stand for?
The PH. What does it stand for?
What does it stand for?
Philosophy.
Yes.
They have their their philosopher doctorate in theology.
Yes, because all of modern...
You can't separate it. Philosophy is in everything. You always use philosophy. Always.
Okay, so does God use philosophy?
Yes.
Well, God's a philosopher.
It begins with them. Why do you think we have it? Philosophy comes from God.
Listen, the reason the philosophy is in the P, okay, being serious for a second, is because ancient systems all started with philosophy and everything else branched out from it, okay? So all new scientific fields and all new linguistic fields, etc., all came from philosophical schools of thought, okay? And then they branched out. But we don't need philosophy, GodLogic.
You just philosophize again.
Oh my. Anyway, listen, right? On the matter of Paul, is it because you don't want to get circumcised? Can you just be honest?
Where does the Quran mention circumcision?
What are you talking about?
Where does the Quran say that you have to get circumcised?
I get it from the hadith.
Show me where.
Google it. There's a hadith from the Prophet where he says it's a law for men to be circumcised. Google it.
Okay, was Muhammad circumcised?
What do you mean?
Was Muhammad circumcised?
What do you mean? Are you crazy?
Muhammad, when he was 8 days old, get snipped.
Listen, what do we believe? You know what we believe.
What do you believe?
You know what we believe. So why are you asking the question?
No, what do you believe? That's what I'm asking. What do you believe?
Well, I think there's different schools of thoughts on this. I think some Muslims believe that he was born circumcised, and others believe that he was circumcised later.
He was born circumcised?
I'm not educated on the matter of the Prophet ﷺ's matter of circumcision, so I'm not going to argue from ignorance here. Listen, this is why you know. This is why you know that I am not a dishonest liar. You know I'm not a dishonest liar. I tell you when I'm ignorant about a topic. I am ignorant on the matter. But here's the thing. Here's the thing.
This is why I like you, Scott. This is why we have
GodLogic, listen. You have diverted the entire conversation since I joined into a matter about Islam.
No, I haven't.
Yet you know it says in the Bible very clearly about the day on which Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, was circumcised. Yes or no? We know.
Was Muhammad circumcised?
This is irrelevant. We're talking about.
It's very relevant because you're saying that you're in line with the law, and if Paul is out of line with the law or teaching anything other, then Muhammad, if he's not circumcised, he's not in line with the law, and therefore is a false prophet.
GodLogic, listen, bro. See, you're not arguing in good faith here, okay?
How?
I never joined this live to discuss Islamic principles or Islamic history. I joined to showcase to you why I am trying to showcase to you how Paul abrogated from Jesus' life. Okay,
and that makes him wrong, right?
And yes.
Okay, so whoever. All right, now let me ask you this.
I already clarified this.
If someone abrogates from Jesus' life, are they a false prophet?
Not if another revelation is revealed. I already clarified
so we already clarified it. I already read to you that Paul received revelation. So that's he meets your standard.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Okay, you believe Jesus? You believe he is crucified? He ascends. He tells the disciples to spread the word. Okay, and then you believe some decades later, this man who was a Roman
decades is a few years later.
Okay, listen, don't get into this with me because you're going to lose. Okay.
How? I think I've been winning this whole time.
Show me a single first century papyrus of the writings of Paul. Go on.
Why?
Show me a single first century papyrus.
Does that mean? Wait a second. Does that mean that his writings don't come from the first century?
They don't.
Really?
We know that they majoritively all come from the early second to mid centuries. Okay.
Well, do me this favor. Go online and put in the date of 1 Corinthians.
Yeah, I know what it says the date is.
What is
but there is no extant papyrus which proves it.
Oh, so if they don't have a first century papyri manuscript, how do you think they came to the conclusion that Paul's letters date to the 1st century?
Because that's what the early church fathers claimed in the 2nd and 3rd centuries.
Well, I'm not talking about church fathers. I'm talking about liberal scholars, people who are not Christians, who are textual critics.
Because scholars
and they even conclude that Paul's writings date to the 1st century. Why? If we don't have a 1st century document?
Because they take matter, they read people from the 2nd century, and they use that as the source. But it is not enough secondary resource. It's not enough to actually determine whether or not Paul came a few years later. Okay,
wait
it's
a
not
second.
enough.
But they've determined this.
Let's assume he did. Let's assume he did. Because actually, you're making my argument even better by assuming such a thing.
Okay.
So let us assume that Paul came some years later, very soon after Christ's crucifixion. Okay.
He was right there, right after Christ's crucifixion.
Okay, let's assume. And he goes there and he meets with James and he meets with Peter and blah blah blah. Okay. So let's assume it was very soon after.
Yeah.
My question to you is: the Son of God, according to you, the revelation. Why would God simply a few years later instill a completely new revelation? This is what you are claiming now. You are claiming that God brought his son, crucified him, and then literally a few years later comes along with an entirely new revelation which goes against the law. Now, do you realize why this is illogical? Do you realize why this makes no sense?
You just destroyed the Quran. Because if Paul coming with a new revelation a few years later proves that he's a false prophet and it doesn't make logical sense, then how much more does that disprove Muhammad as a prophet when he comes 600 years later after Jesus?
No, it proves him more. Why does it prove him more?
What?
Because
what are we doing, man?
Because the disciples at the time who met Jesus, who lived with him, who supported him and protected him, they were alive. They could spread the message. It was still in them. It was still alive. It was in their brain. However, 600 years later, the prophet was living around a time where it was a bunch of pagan, dirt-dwelling kafar. Okay? And that way, God came along, just as he came to Moses, and gave him the correct message.
Why 600 years after Jesus, though? If Paul coming a few years after Jesus with a revelation makes him false, it doesn't make logical sense for him to come a few years after, then it doesn't make sense for Muhammad to come 600 years later with a
I just explained to you why it makes sense. Did you listen to what I said?
No, it doesn't make sense to me at all. You're not being consistent.
What do you mean? I just explained to you why. Because the disciples were alive. Peter was alive. James was alive. The brother of Jesus was alive. Why is it that he had his own church? It got destroyed, and Pauline Christianity survived. He built up a network of people and people he sent letters to. And
James's ministry was never destroyed. What are you talking about?
Okay, where is it today?
It's Christianity, dude.
Oh, it's Christianity, which contains where are all of James's writings?
Why
doesn't James's writings make up a third of the document?
Because he didn't write a third of the New Testament.
Okay, so you're claiming it's alive today, yet it doesn't exist. Yet you claim that Paul
James's religion was Christianity, bro. We have his letters.
Did James eat pork?
Not to my knowledge. I don't know.
Was he circumcised?
Yes, he was.
Okay, khalas, finished. So you have a situation. You have a situation where the disciples, Jesus, his brother, his family, they're all circumcised. They don't eat pork. This man who killed one of them comes along, and then literally a few years later, according to you,
So would you say, Scott? Would you say that whoever disagrees with James is a false prophet? Then
I don't know. I'm not well educated enough to answer that question.
But you said khalas. It's over with.
Do you not believe that James is more of a reliable source than Paul?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
I believe they're equal.
Did James meet Jesus?
Yep.
Did Paul meet Jesus?
Yep.
No. No.
Oh, okay. Well, I got you. So if someone didn't meet Jesus, would that make them a false messenger?
No, but it makes them less reliable.
Okay.
No. It makes them less reliable.
I got you. So it doesn't necessarily make them a false messenger, but it makes them less reliable if they never met Jesus. Is that correct?
Yes, compared to someone who did meet Jesus, it makes them less reliable.
Beautiful. Did Muhammad meet Jesus?
What do you mean?
Did Muhammad meet Jesus?
I already explained to you he received revelation from God.
I already explained to you that Paul received revelation from God.
No, because I explained to you that
Wait, Scott. Now I'm going to your new argument that you brought, that you have to meet Jesus in order to have a certain level of reliability. So did Muhammad meet Jesus?
We are simply talking now. We're not talking theology here. We're talking history.
What we talking philosophy now?
We're talking history/theology here, okay?
And philosophy, right?
Mix it all together and make a nice curry for yourself, mate. Listen, all right? Because I know you like that nice Shake Shack and that Chick-fil-A you got over there.
How do you know that?
And I know that you and Sam Shimon, you love to eat Chick-fil-A. You love to eat it. You need to stop eating In-N-Out. I watch you.
Shake Shack and In-N-Out, boy. You've been watching me. You got cameras.
Of course, I watch you every day. I think about how I'm gonna cook you. I'm gonna put you in an In-N-Out burger, bro. Every day. I'm Middle Eastern, okay? You never know. One day you might be a doner kebab. Listen, right? Let me finish. Right? Listen, bro. Okay, listen. Listen very clearly, okay?
All right.
From a historical perspective, the disciples, they are there. They follow these laws. Paul comes along. He adopts the faith. He claims he saw Jesus on the road to Damascus. Okay? No other secondhand accounts of this matter. Whatever. Let's assume he did see him. Let's believe him. Let's believe him. He did see him. Okay? Does it make sense logically that this man who is still alive, he meets Peter. He rebukes Peter for not eating with the Gentiles. This man who's still alive, he comes along and he provides this revelation. Does this make any sense to you? Sincerely, does this actually make sense to you?
It makes perfect sense to me that Paul, being sent by Jesus, wrote a lot of letters explaining the gospel and breaking it down, speaking from revelation, since he says it's a revelation from Jesus. Peter, James, and John affirming that he's a messenger of Jesus and that he's a messenger to the Gentiles. They affirm him.
Who says, hang on a second.
Whoa. Peter even says that that Paul's writing is scripture. Did you know that?
Okay, so on whose account?
Peter's.
Okay. Go ahead and read the source.
Okay.
I'm familiar. And by the way, I'm familiar with the source. I'm familiar with the letters of Peter. I'm familiar.
So let's go to what Peter says himself about Paul's writing. Let's see here.
You can cook me now if you want. I'll come back tomorrow with even more seasoning for you, okay?
Okay, I'm with that, man. I'm with that. This is 2 Peter chapter 3. We'll start at verse 14. It says, "Therefore, beloved, since you are waiting for these, be diligent to be found by him without spot or blemish and at peace." Talking about being when Jesus comes back. "And count the patience of our Lord as salvation, just as our beloved brother Paul also wrote to you according to the wisdom given to him."
Yeah. Which Peter is this?
This is 2 Peter.
Okay, you have literally referenced 2 Peter, which is not even agreed upon by scholars that it was actually written by him.
It's agreed in the church history.
Oh, okay.
We have no reason to doubt this. Even Peter.
So do you admit that scholars do not agree that it is written by him?
There are scholars that don't believe that Peter wrote 2 Peter. There are scholars who don't believe that Matthew wrote Matthew. That doesn't mean anything to me.
So do you know what this is like?
Wait, let me finish. There are scholars that affirm that Peter wrote 2 Peter. So what are we doing here? Appealing to authority?
It's just like, come on, dude.
What?
Do you know what it's like? It's like me saying to you, this girl is in love with me. And then I get a letter that my friend wrote that claims to be from her. And I say, look at the letter. She told me she loves me. Do you know what I mean?
No, I don't see how that's relevant here.
Well, there's no evidence that the girl wrote the letter, is there?
Yes, we have scholarship in church fathers, church history.
Oh, yeah?
There's nothing that points to the opposite, nothing that points to the other.
Okay, can you who quotes 2 Peter in the early church father history?
I haven't looked at that specifically. I don't have that.
All right. Well, listen, I think we're done here.
Okay.
And I love you. I love you.
Yeah.
You are a Christian. You're part of the people of the book. And unfortunately, you hang around with Sam, who is bald, and you have hair, so he's jealous of you. But listen,
say that all the time. Yes, that's true.
But listen. When are you going to get circumcised?
Why are you worried about my junk?
When are you going to get circumcised?
Why are you worried about what I got in my pants, dog?
I'm just saying, listen. It's there. Jesus circumcised. Why didn't you? Think
Why did
about it.
Muhammad?
Just moving the goalposts every time. This is
I know I'm using the same goalposts.
No, you just
If Muhammad is a follower of Jesus and in line with Jesus' teachings and actions, why didn't Muhammad get circumcised?
Why don't you work as a goalkeeper in soccer? Because the way you move goalposts, it's beautiful. It's honestly beautiful how you keep switching the goalposts around. No one would score against you. But listen, I love you. I hope. Listen, why don't you come to Speaker's Corner and me and you chat to Muhammad Ajab and all them. I know you don't like them.
I'll be there again soon. I don't know exactly when again, but I plan to go before the year's out. So okay. I'll announce. I don't think I'll announce it because I want people to make sure that they're there. I don't want people avoiding me, but I'll try to message you.
No one will harm you. Don't worry. Yeah.
I didn't say harm. I didn't say harm. I said avoid. I don't want people avoiding me.
Oh no, no one's gonna avoid you. I'm gonna be there, bro. I'll be there before you're even there. I'll be at the airport, bro, and I'll be there with a sign that says "GodLogic," ready to pick you up, take you to the mosque, and sort you out. All right.
I'll definitely go do the masjid. I'm down for that.
All right. I love you, bro.
Love you too, man.
Okay.
Take care of yourself. All right.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Al-Basi. All right. That was funny.